Hi, I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of RegAlytics, here with your update on this week's 34,858 regulatory alerts. First and foremost, congratulations to my Eagles fans out there. Also, happy upcoming Valentine's Day. I am wearing pink in honor of it. And happy birthday to one of my longest friends, Colleen Deary. When I was 5, my mother had me walk 6 blocks to kindergarten by myself. And when school was dismissed, Colleen said, "Why don't you just come home with me?" And I said, "Okay." But for the record, it was not okay. But we still have a picture of me that day smiling brightly with my pigtails and Colleen with her back to the camera. So happy birthday, buddy. The regulator of the week is Elon Musk. Speaking of old friends, turns out an old acquaintance I had in college was none other than Elon Musk, but I never put 2 and 2 together until a few years ago. Anyway, Elon is in this very unique position of being the whatever he is of Doge, the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, which is not an actual department of the government, but it does have a website, doge.gov. If you go to the official website, there's literally nothing on it. Okay, well, not nothing. I will quote it here. An official website of the United States government, Department of the Government Efficiency. The people voted for major reform. That's it. There is a Twitter handle, or whatever X handle, and it is currently not in our data policy to follow social media, but we may have to make an exception for this. But the interesting thing I'm picking up in RegAlytics is the astounding 314 alerts we've picked up in 5 countries and 19 states about Elon Musk and Doge. And yes, this next part is from my wonderful high school teacher, Kristen Arts, who asked if there was a good source of information where you can track folks fighting all of this change, fighting meaning against it. One thing I don't mention often is that RegAlytics, in addition to following government bodies, also follows quasi-private bodies like labor unions and trade associations. In this case, the American Federation of Government Employees, which is essentially the labor union for over 800,000 federal government workers, filed a successful lawsuit against Doge from taking over access to Treasury funds. If you go to the website, the very first thing it does is tell you, don't ever log in with your government website address, because this union is never focused on being pro or con any particular legislation or body. We are merely a collection of federal workers as human individuals. What AFGE does do is provide legal representation that focus on elevating the voices of the workers within the federal government. Also, we have no-nonsense New York Attorney General Letitia James. She has spearheaded a lawsuit involving 18 other attorney generals against the Trump administration, aiming to halt the unauthorized access to Americans' private information by Elon Musk and Doge. The lawsuit claims that the Trump administration illegally granted Musk and Doge access to the Treasury Department's central payment system, which contains sensitive personal data such as bank account details and social security numbers. And then there's always Congress. Representative Melanie Stansbury in New Mexico has introduced the Nobody Elected Elon Musk Act. It is sponsored by Republican Jamie Raskin as well. And it sounds like the bill would hold Elon and those at Doge personally accountable for any illegal actions that could result in claims against the federal government. The bill seeks to ensure that we, the taxpayers, won't be left to bear any sort of financial burden of future lawsuits caused by all of these actions. There is also another all-Democrat sponsored bill called the Taxpayer Data Protection Act, but we're in the land of the Republican trifecta, so I don't know. I don't think that's going to pass any muster. And then in all of this, there is the backdrop of an announcement by New York Stock Exchange's group ARCA, which is now proposing to list and trade shares of the Grayscale Dogecoin Trust, which would provide legitimate investors with a convenient way to gain exposure to Dogecoin. I hope you realize at this point that we at RegAlytics can keep you up to date on what you actually need to know in a nice, organized, methodical fashion, where you can quantify the currently 108 executive orders and assess which ones have an impact on you and which ones don't. We do help bring calm in this chaos. And that does include RegAlytics Essentials, which is available for only $49.99 a month, and it can tide you over. It is the last 90 days of everything we've got. You can save searches, see what you missed yesterday, and stay on top of what's happening. And that is it this week for RegAlytics. We have the global supply chain of the world's regulatory alerts in one very easy to use place. If you need a solution for anything related to regulation, give us a call.